So, for anyone that hasn't met me yet, my name is Greg, and I'm a clinical therapist, and I'm the founder of LifeCraft. Today, I'm going to talk to you about our therapeutic psychedelic work. And if you would have told me years ago that we would be doing therapeutic psychedelic work, I would have told you that you were nuttier than a squirrel turd. No way was I interested in doing this. It wasn't part of my training as a clinician, and it just wasn't something that was on my radar. But as with everything here at Lifecraft, we have been on this journey of surrender. We've discovered over and over the beauty that results when you surrender into what the universe puts in front of you. When you bravely choose to move love and energy into the opportunities to serve that the universe puts before you, then the results are magical. And so my resistance to doing therapeutic psychedelic work, because of the legal issues and the aversion to that work that we see in medical academia, I was resistant at first, but it kept coming in front of me. And eventually I went, okay, I'll surrender into this. And shortly after doing so, found myself on a very direct path into doing what I discovered to be tremendously powerful and ancestrally consistent, beautiful, deeply human healing work. And so now I want to tell the story of how that all came to be. And then I'm going to continue on and share our unique LifeCraft therapeutic process, which is the result of years of intentional experimentation and years of leveraging our unique LifeCraft therapeutic clinical tools in the preparation for and integration of these deep therapeutic psychedelic experiences. Yeah. The way I got into this was as a clinician doing LifeCraft therapy, we are able to bring effective healing to people who have reached the end of the road with Western allopathic psychiatry. So people who are maxed out on their antidepressant medications, they're not responding to shock therapy or other treatments. For people like that, we're able to have a cathartic effect because we approach mental health care in a foundationally different way. Western medicine tends to see people with depression or other psychiatric conditions. They tend to see the imbalance. You're having these symptoms because you've got an imbalance in the brain, or you've got an anatomical issue going on in your neurochemistry or neuroanatomy. And so their solution is to add a drug or try to take something away, in some way restore the chemical balance. And that often alleviates symptoms. And so it leads to the slippery slope of being in a place where we've not addressed the root concern, we've not fixed anything, but we're able to function. We're able to function and move on. However, because that root thing has not been addressed, often we see a gentle need to increase the dosage of those SSRIs or MAOIs, things like this. And then what can happen is somebody can reach the end of that road where they can't take any more of that drug and they haven't been healed. They're still struggling with the same things. And so our approach to mental health care is much different. And we believe that depression, anxiety, we believe that is your soul, your core depth consciousness being tired of living a self created identity. We believe that it's your soul's purpose calling you home. Yeah. Calling you back from an ego driven and identity based path that you've been living in this 3D human life. And so, because we believe that every human being is a beautiful, unique soul with a unique collection of gifts and skills and passions and interests, and we believe that all those things in our own individual way intersect at purpose. And when we live our lives in connection with and in expression of our purpose in the world, we achieve the highest levels of meaning and fulfillment and abundance too. When we live a purpose driven life in surrender, we are impervious to, we are resilient from depression, anxiety. And so we believe that those things, depression, anxiety, and a lot of the mental health concerns that we see today, are symptoms of a lack of alignment with our truth, an inability to surrender into who we are, which has been replaced by a desire to be something that we think we're supposed to be. And it leads to friction, it leads to tension that we experience as separation, lack of safety, lack of power, lack of freedom, yeah, confusion, disconnection, all of which can be considered depression. Yeah. And so because we believe that we are these unique beings and we believe that freedom is our natural state and a fully human life with clarity of purpose and freedom to express that purpose is our birthright, that fully human life is available to us all. And so we approach mental health in a completely different way. And we look to identify, reframe, and release self-limiting beliefs, traumas, even things from past lives that are keeping us from surrendering into who we really are, living our life in intimate connection with our beautiful truth, and then serving the world through that truth. And so in my clinic, I would get referrals from psychiatrists and PhD psychologists who had clients reach the end of the road, patients. In their world, they're called patients. And I'm very grateful to receive those referrals because these are mostly people who are big souls, and their soul has been calling them home for so long. But their medication has been further numbing them from the only place where they can find peace, disconnecting them from their intuition and their ability to come back into true power. And so these are people who have spent 20, 30 years on antidepressant medications and having ineffective talk therapy sessions for years, decades. And all they needed was to come back into truth, come into clarity on who they are, and then have any fragments, anything in their unconscious mind keeping them from living in that power removed. And because we're able to do that in LifeCraft therapy, we're able to be effective with these people. And so more and more, I was getting referrals from people who were reaching the end of the road. These are people who, like this was years ago, these are people who today would most likely be recommended or offered MAID. Yeah. And so very grateful that we were able to help these people. And about 3.5 years ago now, ketamine started becoming more common in Western psychotherapeutic care. So ketamine is a pharmacological psychedelic, and it's used clinically to create psychedelic experiences that are then part of a treatment plan with your psychiatrist. And so people who I was getting referred, some of them had this ketamine experience, and all of them, after a LifeCraft therapy session, said, wow, that deep trance experience that I had in LifeCraft therapy was so much like my ketamine journey. The exception being that in our LifeCraft work, we have a bit more specificity, a bit more intention. A psychedelic journey is a bit of a roller coaster with no steering wheel. It's an unfold as it unfolds. Whereas in LifeCraft therapy, we're able to enter those deep therapeutic unconscious states, but with a lot of intention. We can guide very powerfully. And so that means that we can often tie the bow a little bit better, bring a little bit cleaner resolution to self-limiting beliefs and this sort of thing. And so now my interest is peaked, right? Now I'm having people who come in for a LifeCraft therapy session and they're telling me that it was a lot like their therapeutic psychedelic experience. So I'm interested. And it kept coming in front of me. I kept getting these nudges to do this and look into it, and I was resisting. And then I kind of remembered, oh yeah, I try to surrender. And so I did. And I just gave a very simple intention to the universe. Okay, I surrender. And very quickly, I got connected to a couple that had been granted therapeutic use exemption to use psilocybin for end-of-life care and addictions. And so I did a session for both of them, and they both said, oh my God, that's so much like what we do. And so then I went in for a journey. And I was such a straight arrow going through school, such a straight arrow in my life. I hadn't even smoked weed at this point. And so I go into this retreat center and I eat my big cheek full of mushrooms. And it takes time, it takes half an hour, 40 minutes. Nothing's happening. And I'm going through this. Is it happening? Am I feeling something? Not really sure. And then all of a sudden, every time I blinked, it was like a 3-hour carnival of lights and music. And I'm blinking and then I'm staring at them. They're sitting there like they were my sitters, right? They were there to support me and just keep my body safe. And I'm going, did you guys see that? And of course they didn't, right? And then I got this urge to lay down on this really fuzzy rug. Actually, it's just like this pillow that I got in the clinic. That's why I got this, because it reminds me of that first big journey that I did. So it was just like this, a rug on the floor in this retreat center. And so I laid on that rug and I kept getting this urge to giggle, but I didn't want to. I'm laying there and I know they're watching me and I'm thinking, no, I'm here for the spiritual stuff. I'm here for the real stuff. This isn't a joke to me. I'm not here to party. I'm not going to giggle. And then again, a little whisper, surrender. And I went, oh yeah. And so I pushed one out. Like I kind of went, ha 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 ha, like this. And as soon as I did that, whatever I am, it just like I felt myself move through the eye of the needle and just out into the more. And I started weeping. It was the most beautiful, intense experience of bliss and love and peace. I felt this incredible unity, and maybe not even unity. It wasn't like I was connected to everything. It was like I was everything. I felt this complete connection to everything, no separation. And it felt so true. It was a new experience that felt so deeply familiar. You could never convince me that that's not the truth. And I think as so many of us do on a big therapeutic psychedelic journey, you come to realize that where we are after this is who we really are. And this body and this life is a single chapter or a single expression in the arc of your soul. And it's with purpose, learning lessons, grappling, being roasted into things. And so anytime you do a big therapeutic psychedelic journey, you form an intention before you go. And so the medicine took me to past lives, took me to past experiences in this life, everything I needed to see perfectly for me to gain clarity, freedom, and release around that intention. It just, everything goes click, 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 like this. And so I basically laid on the floor in this retreat center for 5.5 hours and giggle cried. And then at the end, your awareness, your consciousness, this beautiful, magical, complex thing just gets pumped back into your cranium, changed, right? Certain things have been released, completely gone. Certain new things have been ascended into. And yet it just fits that right back into the hardware again. And you come back. And so now I'm sitting in this retreat center and I'm eating the little fruit that they have there and kind of processing. And I'm imagining going home and hugging my wife and holding my kids. And I'm weeping, just sitting there on this little stool. My heart was so open. I felt so connected to love and fullness. And I had this deep sense of safety, this deep unfuckwithability. And then a couple hours later, when I pulled up on my driveway, that was gone. And it was shocking to me. I remember sitting in the driveway, like trying to bring the love back. Come on, where's that love I was feeling? And it was gone. And of course, I was excited to see my family like I am every day. But that beautiful open flow, that intimate, instantaneous connection with the moment without any need to protect or change what is, it was gone. And as somebody who works with the unconscious mind every day, I could see so clearly how my unconscious mind had started to come back online. And it was saying to me, whoa, dude, just relax, slow down. It's my job to keep you safe. And I know it's not safe to love that much. It's not safe to be that open. If you love the world more than it's going to love you in return, you're going to get wrecked. You're going to get ripped off. You're going to be disrespected. You're going to get folded in half, right? All lies. Those are all lies. And so, as someone who works with the unconscious mind and someone who knows that the unconscious mind is changeable, my interest was piqued. And so I surrendered into what has become a journey, 3+ year journey, 3.5 year journey of refining how we use our LifeCraft Therapy Deep Trance tools to integrate these beautiful transformational experiences. And what we have today at LifeCraft is the result of that. And it's a therapeutic psychedelic process that I'm really very proud of. I've taken many sitters trainings, many therapeutic psychedelic practitioners trainings. And I can say with confidence that what we have is the most comprehensive, it is the most effective, and has the most energy and effort put into it than anywhere else in the world. So now I want to transition and talk about what that is, what our cathartic process looks like, and then give an understanding of how we leverage our powerful LifeCraft system in this powerful therapeutic work. So the first step is a consultation. We do this with everybody. It's a one-on-one consultation, and we do those either in our clinic or over Zoom. And in this consultation, we're going to do many things. We're going to get clear on your dose and your strain. We have many mushroom strains, and they all have slightly different characters. It's like wine. If you drink enough wine, it's taking you to the same place, and that is where we're going. But each one has a slightly different character and flavor. And so we choose that based on the patient's energy and their goals, their intention, the type of experience they're trying to have, and also their experience. Some mushrooms are really good beginner mushrooms. Some are advanced mushrooms that if you surrender into them, will take you way out into the more, which means a higher and higher level experience of unity and power, freedom. And in that consultation, we're also going to get clear on your intention. We're going to help you understand how we form intentions for our journeys and what a good intention looks like and intentions that we would typically tend to avoid. We're also going to gather all the information we need from you to build your custom mala. We build a custom meditation bracelet using real gemstones. And we build that based on where you're excessive or repressed in your energy system. And that's something for you to wear during your journey. And of course, it's yours for life. And we found that it's subtle, but it really helps. It really helps you feel grounded and seen and contained on your beautiful journey. We're going to answer any questions that you have. And then we're going to give you some pro tips on the things that you want to do, the things you want to try to avoid leading into your journey to bring your unconscious mind into the most power, grounding, and full capacity. The next step is your grounding session. This is a full 2-hour clinical session, and we do that here at the clinic, or we can do it over Zoom. And in this session, we have two goals. One is to bring your unconscious mind into intimate, deep connection with the truth that the safest you can be is in surrender to the universe. This is important because on every big therapeutic psychedelic journey, you're going to come to an intersection. This intersection occurs when the medicine's taking effect, and now time expands, contracts, and then falls away, and causality breaks down. You might be looking at your water bottle and you don't know if the water came first or the bottle, and pretty soon you don't care. When this happens, when every figment of our stabilizing but containing consciousness starts to fall apart, if your unconscious mind is living in the illusion that you're only safe because everything's just so and you have control over everything, if your unconscious mind believes that, when things are falling apart, it's going to be trying to put it back together, which is impossible, and it's going to start to buck. After your grounding session, we've imprinted on your unconscious mind the cosmic truth that the safest you can be is in surrender. And we've led you through vivid visualizations and powerful embodied experiences of you being in surrender, in trance, experiencing the truth of this love, this fullness, this freedom, the benevolence of the universe. So that when you get to this intersection on your journey, it's more like a traffic circle. You get to just cruise through the eye of the needle and just into the more. Yeah, you get to surrender into the experience that's waiting for you. The second purpose of the grounding session is whatever you want. Within this clinical model, we can work in identification, reframing, and release of any self-limiting belief, fear, phobia, any trauma, anything that you've been grappling against, any recurring patterns in your life that you're looking to get free of. We can do that all in the grounding session. That's all included. Then we come to your journey. Now, your journey is going to take pretty well a full day. We come in fasted. We want you to be fasted. And the first thing we do is take your medicine. And this is just from experience. If we do the ceremony and the intention first, and then you take your medicine, then you got 45 minutes where you're sitting around and you feel like you're on that first hill of the roller coaster going click, 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 and you're not really sure if you want to go on the ride anymore. So this way, we do the medicine first. And during that window, while the medicine is coming on board, we do your intention. So you write your intention on a special card, and then we burn it in our ceremonial candle, which actually I have right here. And then it goes into our medicine bowl, which has burned hundreds and hundreds of intentions here. Good timing. I had that stuff right there. And we surrender. We burn that intention and we let it go up to the universe and allow that to guide our journey. This is one of the magical mysteries of psilocybin. Somehow it knows your intention and it takes you to the past lives, the past experiences. It brings you into resolution and freedom around that thing in magical ways. Then we present you with your mala. You're going to get a handwritten card that tells you what gemstones and crystals we chose for your mala and why. And then you get to either wear it or hold it on your journey. And by then the medicine's hitting you. Now you get to go on your journey. Now we use Wave Paths music that plays throughout your journey. Wave Paths is a unique sound creation software that allows us to create customized, multi-dimensional soundscapes. And they are really beautiful for psychedelic experiences. They're going to contain your nervous system. They're going to allow your nervous system to get over these big cathartic releases that without the music you might have just bumped up against but not fully got into. So it creates this safety and this narrative for your journey that you're able to completely surrender into, and it's a really beautiful experience. So we build a custom track, and then we modulate that in customized ways, increasing and decreasing intensity and weaving in and out different emotions as you go through your journey. You're going to have a sitter. This is another unique thing that we do. Many journeys you go to, it might be one sitter for 10 people. We don't do that. We have a very high ratio of sitters to journeyers, often 1-to-1. And that's because we want you to feel perfectly contained, beautifully supported. And so your sitter is going to be with you throughout your journey. No matter where you go, no matter how you move, they're going to go with you. They're going to support you, help you take drinks every now and then. Their job is to keep your body safe. Yeah. And they're also going to be capturing anything you say, do, anything you emote, anything they intuit. And so that sitter's log is a beautiful gift for you. It's really cool, really meaningful to read that after your journey. And wow, yeah, I said this, I did that. And also we use that for your clinical integration, which is going to come after. So you're going to go on your journey. It's going to be anywhere between 4 and 5.5 hours. And on the downside of your journey, at the end, this is what we call the come down. And this is a beautiful, rich period for integrative work because you're partly in the more, the love, the unity, the bliss, you're feeling that. And you're also partly beginning to re-inhabit your conscious awareness. And with one foot in both places, we can really do a lot of connecting work. And that's exactly what we do. So here we do our imprinting session. This is the second of your LifeCraft therapy expressions, the first being your grounding session. Now we're doing imprinting. Here we guide you into trance, which is very easy to do after a big journey. You're very open. And in trance, we very simply remind your unconscious mind, whose only job is to keep you safe, that the safest you can be is living your life in honor of and acknowledgement of the cosmic truth that you are all. You are love, you are innocent, you are beautiful and perfect, you are a being of incredible purpose, and you belong here, you are needed here. The world is ready for your full expression. And as you lean into that, you experience the highest levels of meaning and fulfillment, and you manifest the most abundance available to you. And so when we imprint that on your unconscious mind, which is the foundation of your consciousness, you now get to live your life every moment experiencing those deep truths. This is being fully human. This is the bliss and fullness and freedom that is your birthright. Yeah. You get to move through your life in that way. And as you do, you're strengthening those beliefs because you're always seeing evidence of how lovable, how free, how powerful, how meaningful you are. Yeah. Then the last piece is our clinical integration session. And just like the grounding session, this is a full 2 hour LifeCraft therapy session. And we wait 7 to 21 days after your journey to do the session. And that's because when you go home from your journey, you've up leveled. Your baseline nervous system is freer, brighter, more advanced, and you get to experience your life in this fullness, this beauty. And because you're in that beautiful place, you very easily notice any little pieces of self-limiting belief remaining, any little hooks, fears, phobias, anything keeping you from full surrender. And you notice those things, and you're interested. You notice it, you're like, oh, isn't that interesting? I'm feeling this. Yeah. And so when you come into your integration session, you've had a chance to connect with those, to identify those. And now we bring you back into trance and we systematically identify, reframe, and release every single one of those self-limitations, fears, phobias, anything like that, any traumas. And this is tying the bow around the whole thing. Yeah, a beautiful completion. Now you get to move forward, reframe your unconscious mind in honor, in reverence, and connection to the truth of who you are every moment as you live your life, feeling this massive capacity to give love, to love the world more than it may love you in return. And as you do that, realizing that it's impossible. Yes. So that is our core cathartic process, our core LifeCraft therapy psychedelic experience. And that is common to all the iterations, all the variations of LifeCraft therapeutic psychedelic experiences, which I'm going to talk about now. One last thing I'll mention is that everybody who does an experience with us, they get added to our therapeutic psychedelic community. So this is a place where we share research, ongoing research on the therapeutic use of psychedelics. We engage with people, we answer questions, people share their experience, and we support each other through this beautiful work. So now let's talk about iterations and how this all fits together. Now you can do a single day experience. In that case, your consultation and your grounding session come before, and then your single day is your journey with your sitter's log, your wave pass, and your imprinting session. And then your integration session comes after. So that's the 1 day expression. And that can be done in our clinic. It can be done in your home. And we also do those in our yurts in the backcountry. We have special yurts that we set up. And when you're doing a yurt journey, you're going to have your private mat in the ceremonial yurt. You're also going to have your own private hammock with a bug net and a tarp in the forest room. We have the hammock set up all around. And so you're going to have your own private hammock, your own private space in the yurt, and you're going to be free on your journey to go between, walk in the forest, put your hand in the water, sit in your hammock, lay in your hammock, lay on your mat, meditate, whatever you want to do. And your sitter just goes with you. So that's the single day. Now we also have multi-day, and these are Friday late afternoon to Monday early morning experiences. For these, the Friday programming is all about grounding, bring you into capacity. And we do this in many ways with breath work, Reiki, guided meditations, sound therapy. Saturday is your journey, just like we talked about. And then Saturday evening is the beginning of some integrative programming. So very gentle things like, again, Reiki, breath work, some very gentle yoga, guided meditation, wave paths music, stuff like that. Now, Sunday is our integration day. And here we're going to do any number. We have a broad toolkit. And so your Sunday integration may include cathartic adventure, maybe a climb, a kayak, maybe something big like a via ferrata. It might include cathartic art. We do all kinds of fire art, these beautifully expressive processes that allow you to release, identify, and release in cathartic ways without having to talk about it or articulate what's going on. This could include forest walking, forest bathing. It could include yoga, kundalini. It could include past life regressions, Akashic records, hypnotherapy, LifeCraft therapy, etc., breath work, all the tools. And we arrange those based on what we have for collaborators on the team and what they're most skilled at, and also what's going on in the cosmos. Yeah, that's how we determine the programming. Then Monday is a little bit of a sleep in. We have a nice big breakfast. We do one final piece of programming to tie the bow, typically a big sound session in the ear where you can really feel, and it really aligns your nervous system, really activates your DNA in your new vibration. And then you're off. You get your swag bag, some microdosing stuff, some bath salts, and off you go. So that's the multi-day experience. And we do those in our yurts in the backcountry. And so you can do one day, multi-day. You can do individual, just you. You can do a custom group. So if you have a group of people, we will build a retreat, either a single day or a multi-day, just for you guys. Or you can join one of our existing single day or multi-day retreats that we do on the solstices and a few others here and there. And with every journey, we give, as I mentioned, a suite of microdosing products that we really believe in. And those come included. Those are from Mindful Meds and Vernon. Yeah. Yeah. So that is the way we approach this. And what we found is that when we use these beautiful deep trance hypnotherapeutic tools, which we've had access to for a very long time, we have a record of hypnosis going back over 9,000 years, and we suspect much longer than that. We are returning to who we really are. And I believe the same about therapeutic psychedelics. These are things that our human cultures have been using as a rite of passage to become a full adult, to become a fully activated human being for all of time, right? Until modern Western culture, we've been using therapeutic psychedelics in beautiful ways. We've been burning barks and licking toads and eating fungus for a very long time, inducing these therapeutic psychedelic states. And we're very humbled. We're very humbled to have been offered this opportunity from the universe to deliver this really powerful care and in such a unique and intentional way that is so aligned with our LifeCraft brand. And so if any of this sounds interesting to you, the first step always is a private info session where I share more about what we do and about what it could mean for you. And then from there, if you're feeling called forward, we book you in and begin with your consultation.